button to release this power.
High frequency blades.
Split it wide
Every
open.
finger.
Welcome back to Exalted 3rd Edition, Crimes of Nature. Last time, the ongoing travel arc from Return of the Blessed Isle back to the 100 Kingdoms continued apace. Some discussions were had with Ladal Shireen about religion, her place in the 100 Kingdoms, theology, how would be treated, what would be done. Same with Furious Cascade. General just discussions and catching up and getting to know each other better and solidifying things out that way. In the meantime, an advance party of Thousand Miracles Yang, Vanith Milan, and Absolute Repose would be sent out. But first, before that, there was an incident where Thousand Miracles Yang, by sheer virtue of not exactly understanding what was going on, accidentally made Moon Silver. Don't worry about it, don't look at it too closely, don't think about it, thank the moon, move on. And then the rest of the crew got to the 100 Kingdoms, and Absolute Repose checked in on the Trident River Valley's current political situation, coming up with a couple of ideas of how to handle the insurrectionists and the general revanchists.
Repose is getting upset and has had an opportunity to sit alone and dwell on this without outside interference.
Without anybody pulling back a little bit on that. And
Repose is brooding and stewing and festering in unpleasantness.
That'll be fun.
And then on the other side of the area, and a quick run, Milan and Yang went over to Koi to speak with Koi about generally what had been happening, what has been going on, anything out of the ordinary, and her response was more or less, it's been too dang quiet and I don't like it. And then when informed about the Moon Silver, immediately went to go drink.
Yeah, fair enough.
As the person who least understands moonsmithy, Yang is the most qualified to perform moonsmithy.
Yes.
I had a quick side question.
Sure, what's up?
Did I pick up on she also had some offhand Moonsilver tests that she just dumped? Or was that her just grabbing some more booze?
That was booze. That was not
Okay.
Moonsilver. She does not have Moonsilver on hand. Good lord.
No, I had interpreted as in the past she had made attempts at creating Moonsilver and failed.
No,
And so
So
she
like
okay.
research notes for what she thought she knew. Yeah, okay. I see where we're going.
Okay, so I misinterpreted her dumping an old experiment instead of her grabbing more booze.
Taking notes on the moon is a rookie mistake.
Yeah, that Koi would have told you that if you had brought that up in characters. Like, I have not touched that because that's no. Do you want the moon to look at you? That's how you get the moon to look at you.
It is safe to be observed. Go outside.
Yeah, that was out of character in misinterpretation.
And as a last note, San Guanyang picked up a bit of correspondence and was also informed of the strange alchemical miracle. And Milan left a letter behind for the mysterious purple figure. Just kind of going, come on, low blow.
Look, let's talk about this. Come on. You and me, face to face.
And from there, we have mostly caught up to the current situation. And from here, I think I will just immediately shift into a scene in the Trident River Valley, the evening of or right after Repose's visitation and working on...
I will volunteer to set some scene, actually.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
But let's push beyond the evening into the small hours, deep in the night, where Repose, having briefly set his mind to a task, has spent many hours in isolation, fixated on the question of how to design this trial. And so he is so at this point, the temple as a structure is the lowest priority thing to rebuild and prepare. So it's mostly just some tents in the field where the previous temple was. And so Repose is just in an isolated pocket at the back of the main building. He has set all of his possessions aside. He is back in just the ordinary, slightly presentable, body sack of a regular robe. And he's got a lot of slates arranged around him that he has been gradually writing on and erasing and rewriting on as he war games out this scenario over and over in his head and keeps altering and refining and escalating and iterating on this concept of administering divine punishment. And so it is a very late hour of the night. Repose is faintly glowing by his own aura rather than bothering to light a lamp. There is like a faint, fine, like tinnitus whining emitting from him into the surrounding environment. Just this slight, unpleasant ringing as he is very visibly tired. He has not taken like his 1 hour of sleep substitute. He is just staying up all night, fixated on the trials.
Most absurd thing to just, even though you only have to sleep an hour a night, you're still gonna overwork.
That's one less hour that isn't spent thinking about moves and counter moves.
I understand. It is still ridiculous.
So he's got everything charted out pretty thoroughly, and we'll say like at the point that scene is beginning, he is slowing down. He's falling into a bit of a rut. He's reached the point where he's like making individual letters deliberately over fancy so that he stays in motion of writing, but is moving very slowly through repeating phrases that he has already put down in other places before and erased and then put back up again. There is a very fine layer of dust on everything from all of the writing that has been going on.
It is roughly at this point that as Repose is continuing to write, a single black feather drifts down, kind of wafting through the air before gently landing on the tablet in front of him to cover the words he had just written. There is the sensation of a presence above Repose's head.
Repose very slowly looks up at the bird and just sits.
It is not
fixed,
actually. It is not actually a bird this time. It is Juan in human form. He is looking down, and something that immediately strikes you is that instead of his usual kind of even gaze with his normal eyes, his eyes are now silver Rhyton eyes that have the coloration of like darkness and bruising slowly shifting across them like cloud cover. You are clearly looking at his tail. He's letting you see it. How long are you gonna do this to yourself?
And Repose, still very slowly and mechanically, slides back to looking at this. He has, the endurance of the earth. He's not really physically drained by any of this, but he is extremely tired of what he is working with. He just kind of responds in this very low, unembellished monotone. He's just putting in the minimum effort to just like vocalize what would otherwise be an internal monologue. Less in character delay, actually, than out of character delay.
Yeah.
As
That's fine.
I've been anticipating getting back to this subject all week.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's
Same,
a lot
actually. So there may be some thought on my end as well.
There's going to be plenty of think. In character, though, Repose is actually just at a level of drained and exhausted with this that he's actually very quick to respond, because he's like skipping over the layer of composing and pre-processing anything that he wants to say right now. There's minimal filtering on his words. So just looking back to it again. Until it's done. Until I can make something presentable of this.
There is a scoot as he scoots himself with the hands and his legs, just hopping down to basically land on his feet next to Repose. Not too close, but close enough that he can squat down with his hands across his knees and make eye contact at eye level with those just intensely piercing eyes.
Is this a full-size human son or like a tiny?
Yeah, this is him. This is him.
Right, he's just all here.
This is just actually full on him. He is giving you his full attention.
Him, or at least main him. There might still
Yes.
be a few drones out there.
Oh yeah.
Burning about.
Yeah, there probably is, but like Repose would basically be able to tell by virtue of I have been characteristically paranoid and I am showing you my tell that this is just a nonverbal declaration of this is my full attention right now. And I trust you enough to show you this. So as he's hopping down and just kind of kneeling down, he just gives a soft exhale. I'm gonna say something I think you need to hear, but I don't. You're reminding me a lot of Sybil right now.
That provokes just a little bit more firm of a dragging of the stylus, a tensing up.
You're sitting here with an idea that you have to test people. And as you are sitting here, you are clearly exhausted. You are going over it again and again and again and again, trying to make it work, realizing that it is not working, and blaming yourself rather than blaming the idea. You are acting like Sybil. You need to lean on your hearth. Someone to step you back, you are doing, and realize what it is that you are doing. You are not making a plan to rehabilitate or to filter out these people, even in an effective way. What you're doing with that scheme of yours is not a way of selecting who should live and who should die. What you are doing is you are selecting who is going to be the most effective at hiding their own nature from you, and they will walk out with a smile on their face, and they will continue to be exactly who they are. You're not doing this because you want. You're not doing this right. You're not looking what you actually have to do in the eye. I gave you contact because I wanted you and Obsidian to have the last word on what you were going to be doing. I reached out to you after I realized that an entire military outpost had been taken over by these people and had been planning to subvert another outlying outpost, and I dealt with that. And then I gave it to you. And when I look back and see what you're doing, you are planning a torture game. This isn't an execution. This is a... This is for gratification, not justice. And I don't think you've admitted that to yourself yet. I'm worried about it. You and yours are a lot more effective than I would have ever guessed anybody your ages would be out here. I don't want to see you tear yourself apart and get the scars that somebody my age has. By refusing to step back and reassess.
Propose would have perked up a bit at the mention of gratification through all of this, probably given a bit of a, abrupt, ghost-like turn and look with with less head motion than you'd expect and more eye motion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I enjoy any of this?
No. I think you want to. Because you don't want to face the alternative. Because it feels horrible. You're finding some way to justify this to yourself. He gestures at the tablets. If you wanted to kill them, you'd kill them. If you wanted to test them, you would test them. What is this? What is this carnival shit that you were writing? If it isn't a way of getting around fear. He has gone quiet to let Propose respond to that one.
There's not in character silence here. There will be a response.
But if there is a pause, there is just another slight. I don't want to see you all do this to yourself.
All right, I've got it. Propose gives just a bit of a sharp exhale that might have formed a laugh if he had more effort to give right now. The usual problem then. Do I begin with a conclusion that leaves the listener startled, founded? We'll begin with an explanation. Might leave them bored, disoriented, eventually irate for the impatience of waiting. The explorer probably trails off a bit.
Guan just raises an eyebrow. Whatever one you're more comfortable with.
What was so urgent that you had to strike before we made it back?
My own paranoia. What? expect me to disseminate on that? No, I saw a threat and I killed it. Only afterwards did I think about maybe I should have asked you ahead of time. Mea culpa.
All right, you know what? Stopping to have taken a sip of water out here in the regular world. Yeah, we'll actually bring into presence in the scene that there is like a filled to the brim just cup of water on whatever working surface Repose has that has clearly not been touched at all through this entire session. And at just the surprise of getting that stated just in one, he actually picks it up and takes just the tiniest sip and puts it back.
He just kind of gives a shrug.
You perhaps then already appreciate the extent of your possible misplay.
Yes. Everybody else was talking about it by the time you got here, and you had to adjust to it. And I do apologize. It has been long enough since I have worked with anybody else that I am unused to having to consult anybody but my partner on my own actions. When I deem a threat, I deal with it as I see fit. Attempting to help, my old instincts kicked in.
And
I
the
apologize.
way which you see as fit to deal with this situation is for dissidents to vanish in the night, unburied
Yes.
and uncounted.
I never said they were unburied.
That gets another sip of water.
They
Well,
get
that
known
is
them.
one less problem.
I'm fully aware of the nature and the threat of unquiet ghosts. So out of pure self-preservation, if nothing else, I know how to quiet them. In a way that means that none of the living can glorify them as a martyr. Which is what this would do. He kind of leans back out of the squat and just kind of pops back onto his butt and crosses his legs and leans in. Just chin on one hand, propped up on his leg, looking at Repose.
And for the first time in this Repose, actually, like, sets down the stylus and then actually picks up and shifts a bit and turns to fully bodily face Sun.
This isn't just about them, is it? Okay, that is a read intentions roll on you. If you have anything that could beat that with your guile boosting.
Nope, Guile remains a not strong point in here, so Sun is going to be able to see what Repose is very much about right now as he is getting ready to decide. Well, yeah, in great part, the thing you could immediately detect off of sensing out of reading intentions is that Repose is overwhelmed by the quantity of stuff that has happened outside of... Things have gone too far off script for Repose. The emotional core of what is happening right now. He normally has a lot of ways to either plan for the specific things that are happening in front of him, or for unexpected things, they fall into some box that he is already trained to handle, and so he can just break out the procedures.
And this is a situation where you are doing the thing your sect does not do, and
he has been forced to improvise, and this is something he hates to do.
there is an actual an uncommon in Repose's life look of sympathy, of just recognition, even if that is not a shared experience of just, this is what I'm good at, not. He just gives just a soft sigh again.
Is the peak of my season. I should be planning carnival shit. And instead I am digging a mass grave.
Yeah. Just gives a slight shrug on that as well. And this, I suppose, in part was what I wanted to help avoid, my own way, was you getting the scars from having to do that. I'm no fool. Ideally, you're going to live a long life, and you are going to be dealing with quite a few situations like this, with or without help. You're too damn young to be doing this on your own. Here I see you doing this on your own. So whether or not, no matter what you thought of me and think of me, I'm not leaving somebody to flounder when I can do what I can to try and help better.
Rose reaches back to get the water, bring it over, just has it in front of him. And again, there is definitely, with that level of perceptiveness that Sun has, this is like the moment where he would try to go into a more relaxed posture, but he is already in this just state of complete tension and exhaustion, so he's instead just going through stiff motions, but he is looking as diplomatic as he can right now.
And it is clear from Guan's face towards Repose that he means what he said. He really, this is not I am win this to win social points for you. I am seeing a situation I cannot let lie unresolved. I would not be able to live with myself.
Well then, you're here, I'm here. I have all night, all day. Whatever this becomes will not be scheduled for at least 2 weeks. Let's have your counsel then. Hear your news. Although, quickly enough that he's not yet waiting to, prompt our response. I did expect that something would unfold were I to turn my back. And for that occurrence, I had invited friend Steele to intervene and told the Trident people that if they were in distress, they could send alarm up the roadway and contact them.
That you did, I suppose.
Do you not know friend Steele, then? They had mentioned occasional attempts at outreach by Lunas of the region. Would any of those have been you, or was that the others?
No. He catches himself. Bismuth. Bismuth is the one that they're talking about. Outreach is a very diplomatic way of phrasing it. I haven't had much to do with the Gods River Valley in my proper face, he says, kind of gesturing to his eyes. I've been there plenty of times as a trader, and vaguely aware of this, but never really leaned in on it.
And see, now there you've named another of my immediate problems. Problems of facing. Of who knows who. None of the people of the valley know who you are as what you are.
Shakes his head. Almost nobody here does. Koi's the only one.
And so, from their view, all that has happened is within barely a season of the last unpleasantness, the moment the very holy warriors who delivered them from that evil turned their backs. Something else crawled forth from obscure corners of the night. Tore a few dozen lives away. How many have you already slain?
11.
There's actually a bit of, and from like fancier words creeping back into his vocabulary, Repose is starting to relax a little. Well, that is not so drastic then.
It was an outpost
That
with
much is
larger
not.
ambitions than its numbers. And that was not
Fair.
one.
Yeah, just at like a muttering level while Sun is talking. Just the mention of that is not beyond repair.
He nods, leans back a little bit, thinking.
And now, as I return and hear this dire news, they've been left thinking that these sympathizers for the enemy have been struck low by some manner of curse. To some extent that is true, and to some extent that is appropriate, but without trial, in darkness, in secret,
Who said that was you doing it? And who said they didn't have a trial? There is a bit of a crooked smirk on his face of that. They did not have one, aside from my own judgment, but at the same time...
and
You know
just there is the flat eyes looking back from Repose of, yeah, that's my point, man.
Yeah. He kind of shrugs on that as well.
And what does it say to them of me if I allow that to go unremarked? That I approve such acts?
That you were extraordinarily busy assisting your brothers halfway across the world.
That is only why it was able to occur. That is not what I might do in response.
He gives a shrug. If you want to pin it on a face of mine or me properly, I'd be willing to go with that if it would buy you the stability you would want.
Some minor local spirit had taken it upon themselves to try to win my favor by intervening in this manner. They would be owed a bit of a corrective act for intruding into what is as of yet a matter of mortal law. And, alright, so like breaking out a specific dialogue, Repose would mutter on to some extent about some of the possibilities that he has been mulling over on this subject, just to like save time and move forward a bit.
And Guan would give his own as well, so you go first.
So the conflict that Repose sees sitting before here, the choices that he's become entrenched with, as establishes, okay, so we need to decide what to assign responsibility for that attack to, because Repose didn't do it, and Repose does not want an ally of his own to have done it, because he is not the kind of person who would request that. Staring plainly at, yeah, you sure didn't mention in your note that you had already opened fire when you sent your letter. I asked you to take prisoners, and you skimmed off the top.
Specifically,
why didn't you wait for me?
So the letter did actually say, I have killed several of them, but would you like me to stop and wait, or would you like me to keep going?
In that case, remembering that detail then, that they would still be on the bent of, well, why was it only after you had a couple of their heads in your mouth that you thought to ask permission to enter what I am trying to make my territory? What are you claiming these people?
And Guan would be just upfront about the fact of having the inclination to want to help, but then his old way of doing things kicked in, and by the time he realized, oh shit, that was a mistake, well, they were already dead. And his proposal from how to handle this would be, number one, either blame the deaths on a spirit trying to curry favor, or some form of underworld retribution from blood. And as to how to handle the people in particular, that depends on how you're feeling towards them. Number one, exile and brand them in general and let them have their own fates out in the wild if you feel like they are willing to have another shot somewhere on principle. Or if you just want them dead, I mean, if it's a matter of blood on the hands, Juan would not lose sleep over it. But also would not...
to briefly address the audience question, these kind of points in the drama of Exalted characters is what limit tracks are supposed to be for, but generally fail to actually gamify and encourage.
Yeah. Basically, Guan went on a paranoid tear and was like, I'm helping, and murdered about a dozen people, and only afterwards thought, wait, hang on, I really should have
fucking mood.
And Repose, as an obsessive perfectionist, is responding to this break of his rituals by getting really mad and digging a hole.
Yeah, and Guan realizes
because
that...
no matter how bad this looks, it's at least reclaiming control of the situation.
And Guan realizes, you wouldn't be digging that hole if I hadn't made the mistake. I really need to help address this.
Screaming. Screaming rats.
Mm-hmm. Guan's point is just either brand and exile them if you feel like they deserve another shot in the land of the living, and if your primary opposition to digging a mass grave is the psychological toll of doing so, I mean, I'm not exactly bragging about it, but I've killed a lot of people in my day. I can help you with that.
exile makes this someone else's problem, and more likely simply chases all of them into the waiting arms of the tyrant if he would have any use for them. If not him, then some other.
Kind of nod.
Did you witness the battle?
From a distance, I didn't want to get too close. For a number of reasons.
Near enough that you saw repeated then that without a strong man to hide behind, they quickly dissolve back into irritants.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I guess dropping back out of specifics of dialogue to just kind of... Repose would take a while. He's still tired enough that he doesn't, like, get louder, but he is... There's the subtext if he would be trying to convey more as he...
Yeah.
Goes a bit deeper into, Yeah, this has gone well enough that I feel like, yeah, well, it would drag out Repose being able to name and voice the point of the death game is to very aggressively course correct back to no, punishments for crimes should be public and visible and explained. That doing the trial is supposed to be about getting them to prove who they are one way or the other. With, yeah, the acknowledgement of, alright, you've already filtered for these would fail any actual test of character.
And his secondary point would be, so you put them through this in a very loud public manner, and...
People need to see them fail and be reminded.
Alright.
This isn't about them anymore. This isn't about the prisoners, it's about what can be made of them.
So why the convolution was basically his point. Why the sadism? Why the runaround when you can just make it a very direct thing? Because what he would kind of add to, because he knows enough about ghosts, is, hey, if you have people die in a really convoluted, intensely emotional situation, you know what happens. You should know better than me what happens. The worry is if that they're going to be a problem and they're not in life or death. And you already know how to kill people so they're not a problem when they're dead. And if it's going to end with them being dead anyway, make this official, make this stayed, make this a way where their ghosts are not going to immediately come roaring back as angry specters.
And sliding a bit back into the tired, dry, exhausted monotone. It's not a fair trial if there's no way they can win.
They already had their trial, didn't they? Obsidian gave them their one warning. Their trial was to not do the thing.
Comic relief break here.
Yeah.
Ah, bird, you have entered my home. You are in my effective range.
Oh no.
there will be some in-character silence and prolonged sigh, and there's still the ongoing, just ringing, unpleasant tone that is emanating from tired repose. Yeah, I think I feel like we're reaching a close to an ending point of the scene. I'm just trying to finalize a closing remark here to just still exhausted. Probably just like whispering under breath again about difference in age.
Mm-hmm. There's a flicker of a smile across his face at that one, but
Is it that much easier for you? At your age?
read intentions.
Scroll up to the old stat sheet. Three.
That does hook into an intimacy that lowers it enough, and he is. You are intensely aware that if he was giving up his real guard on this one, you would probably not be able to tell, but he is having a moment of reflexively, do I throw the shield, and then doesn't, as you realize when you ask that, that smile on his face falters, and it is much more fixed before a slight sigh, and I don't believe that burden should be on the young. I'm used to carrying weight.
Then let us make something more presentable of this. Starting to turn back to the table and probably just wiping one of the slates clean. I have all night.
I have all the rest. And then we can just kind of have scene cut there for the now.
Scene cut there, and so the idea I would put forward then at this layer to suggest is, okay, step one of how we can salvage this is Sun goes and... Alright, so it's either, like, Sun poses as some miscellaneous thing that Repose can drag out and chastise and rebuke for having caused the incident.
Mm-hmm.
But the possible second layer to move up on is Sun goes and infiltrates the prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have whatever he's going to pretend to be come out in the trials.
Right. So
and make a spectacle out of that.
Have it be that spirit of chastising of, look, I'm doing a help. Look at me doing this help. And then have it blamed on that. Is what you're thinking of?
there's room for, again, this isn't happening for additional weeks in character, so a lot of workshopping can happen about the details of what this is even going to be.
Right, yeah.
How destructive it will want to be and all that stuff.
Right.
But just the beginnings of, okay, I am back now, and reminding you that you are in what I am trying to make my house.
Yeah. You are in charge, and he is going to defer to you on that. Within reason.
So, we fix this.
Yes. And he is on board for fixing.
Alright, so we can conclude that, and sometime vaguely the next day is when Milan and Yang would have been prompted to swing back by the valley.
Yep.
Probably actually come up and see at this point, unless a dedicated effort was made. Sun would just still be with Repose, doing the work.
This is weird.
Surprising.
Sun kind of glances up over his shoulder as the two enter back into the city, finding Repose via the Hearth connection. Oh, you two are out here too.
Yeah. You guys, what's going on? Is there we being attacked?
No, it's giving some advice.
Oh, really? All right. Cool. I'm gonna. Hey, you know where old man is?
What did you say? Sorry, I actually didn't catch that.
You know where old man is?
On the
How are
boat,
you?
still. Like out of character. He's
Because
still
at this point, at this exact moment, old man, who has just been just because he does this every now and again, has been balancing on one foot on one of his geta, just because, and completely out of character for him. He starts to lean a little bit off, and hold on, and old man is about to maybe fall.
Oh no!
Tragic.
Okay, go ahead.
Roll to not fall.
Gasp.
As old man successfully does not fall, almost certainly, but
Yeah, you're good.
he has to put out his other foot to notice that. How in the world did that happen? And after a moment of just kind of like standing there, like puzzling that out, he starts to balance on the other one, doesn't notice a problem, and then looks intensely at his right foot. And for once actually dismisses wood dragon claws on his right foot. And he notices he's missing one of his toes.
Oh no!
Yeah, that'll happen.
Give him
When
a
did this
wiggle.
happen? Yeah. What?
Oh no! Toe got put in the juicer.
I have bad news about your toe.
Well, it's
Old
fine.
man-
The
Old
essence
man's
of-
not with you, unfortunately. You can't tell him your horrible, horrible story.
He's just noticing he is suddenly missing a toe.
Weirdest thing.
Wizardry.
All right, continue.
Just a brief old man interlude.
Yes.
We'll get back to the boat here in a little bit. Back in the 100 Kingdoms, Sun just kind of gives a shrug to Yang. By the way, I do have to ask a question. I can't. Ordinarily, I would believe everything that all of my reports get back to me on, but I'm not sure if that one was a. Did you say that you made? He doesn't finish the question, and is just kind of leaning.
Moon and silver? Yes, I did.
Oh, great. So I do have to deal with that being real. Great, wonderful. Okay.
What, is that not okay?
It's not illegal. I'll put it that way. It is confusing.
Well,
I wouldn't let anybody outside of your hearth know you did that. I'll just put it that way.
Yang slowly slinks further into his chair.
Kind of
Got
glance.
it. Yeah. Sure thing, son.
And glances over to Milan. How's Koi holding up?
Same as ever. This time extra drunk.
He actually kind of raises his eyebrows a little bit.
Sort of head motions over to the slinking Yang.
Oh, you.
Yeah. Too late.
Anybody else?
No, just Koi.
All right, that should be fine.
And the panel judges that was on the ship. But aside from that,
Wait, panel of what?
I'm just gonna stay at repose.
Very tired, disheveled, Repose, still just wearing the ordinary clothing. And it's weird to notice that he is not carrying the walking stick right now. To just realize that that is missing from his silhouette. And he is just kind of slouching along.
Christ, no wonder.
It was a reasonably public event.
All right. Well, what happens, happens. Kind of thinks to himself for a moment. I wonder if... When she gets back, I'll ask her. Looks back at Yang. In the meantime, was it just the substance, or what did you do?
Yeah, there's some haunted ass gloves out there now that see ghosts.
Blink.
He was plating our brother's gauntlets with
Mr.
Quicksilver.
Angler requested a set of mirrors to be added to his garb.
He just kind of glances up at the sky.
Oh yeah, also a pair of kids know about it and will probably inherit each glove individually.
They don't know about it.
Were I placed in charge of the task, I would have simply polished a few scales of steel, but
I didn't
Yang
think
took
it
the
would
initiative.
Work. I didn't think it would do anything. Like, did you? I just fucking.
Guan holds up a hand. That's probably exactly why it worked.
I was just fucking around.
And so, you learned.
Yeah, you found out. Now, the good news is, if it's not a replicable process and it was a pure fluke of chance, then you're probably fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
He just gives another shrug at that.
I am so over accidentally making religious artifacts, let me tell you.
Wait, what do you mean? Dial that back.
Yeah.
You made other ones? Go on.
Well, and there's the orb that, I guess, in a way, is like if
He
you
just
quit hard
looks
enough.
over to Repose like, what? The fuck does
I mean-
orb?
Okay, so you toss a thing in there, and then you spin it a bunch, and it will just sublimate whatever is in the orb. That's how I got the Quicksilver. And I feel like if I make a thing,
A centrifuge.
yeah, but like it's a centrifuge that caused the sun and moon to come out at the same time because it made something really.
It did
confusing.
what?
The sun and moon rose at the same. I thought it was just some weird star alignment that once I realized they were both looking at me, I turned into the biggest cord cop you have ever seen.
Repose is seeing a very different look on Guan's face than the night before, where he was very reserved, open, just kind of caring, a little sardonic. Now it is just like, what?
He has, in a roundabout manner, begun to assemble some manner of spiritual crucible.
Crucible. Oh my god.
Judging by its results to date, it is reasonably effective.
I kind of want to just donate it
If
to
poorly documented in the means of its use, it is... All works reflect their makers.
So,
Damn, dude.
Quan just starts to laugh uncontrollably at that, and also, Suna specifically give me read intentions with socialize.
Okay. Wits 5, socialize none probably. Yeah, 5. All right. Four.
He sure had a very specific reaction to the word crucible.
Crucible, you say, huh? Could mean anything.
Do you remember out of character what this is about or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, yeah, unless there's more to discuss in the scene, I think we can have it snap back to the boat.
Let's have it snap back to the boat.
Okay.
Obsidian,
Okay.
Yeah, well,
We can snap back
have
to
you
the boat.
seen my toe?
what would it look like?
You know,
I
I
feel
was
like
about to just correct you about, of course you know what it would look like. You've seen my feet before, and then I realized. That's fair.
Just briefly, what were you saying, Loon?
I feel like so just off camera, Repose will give an extremely abbreviated confession of what he has been up to overnight.
Okay.
Probably just putting it as succinctly as he's having trouble with. Well, yeah, he probably, as he starts to get even slightly recomposed, he wouldn't go so far as admitting that he's having a problem with it, but he's been deliberating over the prisoners, and he will come out and state flatly that he is prepared to be quite cruel. And then just kind of everyone recognizes how he expresses being stressed and conflicted alongside that. Being done with words.
And Guan would not volunteer any details unless like given nigh explicit permission to do so.
Yeah.
This is gonna get an immense look of, oh god damn it.
Yang will just say, yeah, killing people sucks. No matter how hard you try, you'll never make it enjoyable.
That gets a very solemn kind of agreeing single laugh out of Guan.
Yeah,
I
just the
think you
note
should
of
just,
immediately kicking down that wall of Repose is not going to attempt to conceal that this is happening at all from the rest of the hearth. That is the trust of a hearth that he will
Mm-hmm.
he will
I think the
obscure
thing-
details. He will not conceal
Hide.
salient points. Anyway,
So-
boat.
Well,
It's tiny, wrinkled, and shitty. Are you sure you haven't seen it?
That fraudulent Repose who should not be on the boat.
Can't say I have.
Old man starts to really think about Obsidian's pretty much equal lack of perception to his own, and really starts to wonder. I should probably ask Angler.
Should probably ask Angler.
Angler,
Yes.
have you seen my toe?
Which toe?
It was my right pinky toe. It appears to be gone.
Did a bird eat it?
Maybe. In a very roundabout. Okay, hold on a second. I have an idea. Old man is gonna go ahead and occult at himself to really feel like has he had that spell going the entire time without thinking about it?
Mhm. Go ahead. One dice dot.
Okay.
You are missing exactly 1/108th of yourself.
Exact.
My meridians.
Unbelievable. First time I cast that spell in earnest, and I already fucked it up. That's not quite like me.
I don't know. That sounds exactly like you.
So, how exactly did you lose your toe? It
Um,
seems like something you would understand would be lost.
Well, do you remember when I turned into the birds?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I can do that at any
Oh!
time.
Oh,
Well,
seems
one of
like
your
one of
birds
them
did eat some mercury at one point and die.
Yeah. Obsidian would yell at one of his crewmates, "Hey, Glass, did you see where that bird that Yang did the thing with went?"
Didn't it explode?
Hmm.
Hold on.
You in here
What?
did it explode?
Hold on. The bird ate some mercury? Some quicksilver?
Oh, did you not see the thing?
Wouldn't
No, what?
Yang made
When did
moon
this happen?
silver
Why would you never?
because I have none filter.
You lead into that top. Yes, Yang made these, and I would show off my gauntlets.
So one of
What a
the,
waste of good quicksilver.
the
What
appraisal,
else
Also,
would you
how
use
did he
it
get
for,
it out of
Kark?
my bird?
the appraisal officer on board kind of leans over and is like, "No, Ruby."
Yeah, Ruby.
She's like, "I don't really know how this works. Wouldn't you know if you were the birds what the birds were doing?"
Okay, I clearly need to explain how this spell works. It's like if I turn into 108 birds, it's like a little bit of my mind in each one, and there's a little bit of available consciousness distributed across them.
Oh, so you
But
split
only a
your
little
mind
bit,
up 108 ways as well.
More or less. So one of them kind of skipped my mind. I'm very old.
Shrug.
It's easy to forget
It kind of goes
things.
back to her paperwork.
That mean that each bird is only 108th as intelligent as you are?
That would make them extremely smart birds if that was the case. So probably not so much.
Hence my confusion.
But they have old man's desires, so it's all Quicksilver and when I want that.
Why do you want
What a
to
waste of
consume Quicksilver?
What, you don't know?
Surprise me.
I would assume that a water aspect would know. Really?
It's more a matter of why a mortal person would want to consume Quicksilver. Lay it on me.
Well, you've already figured it out by just explaining by asking that question.
Okay, so squinting at the stats for one of my generic acolytes and kind of reading between the lines that calligraphy and explanations of occult stuff probably files at around a 5 or 6 total pool.
Yeah,
Ron is just behind Old Man with an explanatory diagram drawn up of the division of the self into 108 parts.
PowerPoint.
Point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
scrolls.
Listen, you already just explained. You answered your own question right there with your question. It's one of
Figured
the
as much.
classical.
I figured if it would be something more than that.
It's one of the classical forms of elixir of immortality. Let's call it. Now, sure, every previous attempt at using it probably has led to the death of the consumer. But I'm extremely good at tolerating toxins. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Your bird wasn't fine.
Well, the bird only had 108th of my ability to withstand toxins now, didn't it?
I'm sure Yang has more Quicksilver. When we catch up, you can ask for some.
Just an agreeing nod from Obsidian.
No, clearly if it was able to be turned into moon silver like that, that was some special material.
The next slide is like a couple of pie charts showing the relative magnitude of the dose of poison on entire person versus tiny slice of person.
what happens is like there's a slice of the pie chart inside of a person, and they're kind of clutching their stomach, and there's a slice of the pie chart inside of a bird, which is exploding because it's too big.
It's if it was that magical to begin with, I'm sure that was more what I was looking for. You see, there's different kinds of quicksilver. There's the more mundane kind, then there's a real kind. The good stuff.
Discerning Ruby actually looks up at that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. I've seen a lot of forgeries of it. Never ends well for anybody who tries buying that. So I've just not bothered.
It is in fact quite rare, is the main problem. And
Yeah, this is why we don't deal in magic bullshit.
Real easy to have a forgery just kill you, and that's a really bad thing for your business when you sell things that just kill people.
I'm on my search. I've been on, well, I have to admit, I've been off that search for about 50 years, actually. But that was one of my things I was searching for ages back in the day.
Sir, I have a question. Discerning Ruby asks. Why on earth do you think Yang would have this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it every day that Quicksilver magically turns itself into like the metal blessed by the moon?
You just said yourself that this disqualified it from what it was that you were looking for, right?
No, he said that it actually would maybe qualify it.
Ah, okay. Then misinterpreted.
At no point before now did I ever assume that Yang had access to what I was looking for, but now all of a sudden he might. But if he did, it was probably an accident that he had this in the first. Probably doesn't have any more now. There was quite a lot of it there.
Remember, Yang's full name is Thousand Miracles Yang.
And he just used up one of them. He's 999 Miracles Yang now, as far as
maybe another miracle is a second amount of mercury. You don't know that.
It's unlikely.
Discerning Ruby is trying very hard to not just burst out laughing at her desk.
Clack,
my
clack.
God,
Listen. Now that this is on the table again, my my ancient neurons have been reactivated.
What's a neuron?
If we find any of the real shit, that's mine. He gestures at his chest. Just slightly concave at this point from his like furious breathing right now.
Discerning Ruby just kind of looks over to Obsidian Shield. Just the look on her face is like, no, I'm not stopping.
Somewhere in all of Old Man's unique apocrypha, there are a few occasional fragments of science, and those are the parts that are wrong. He has this very elaborate chart of like 150 elements. Those are just Earth! That's just dirt!
Lean over to
That's
Ruby.
all the same
I saw him take a beam. He'll be fine.
Old Man's controversial idea that water is in fact a compound made of different elementary particles.
Water's made of 2 air. 3 air.
You know, when you get down to it, Earth and fire and air is the same thing. It's all a spectrum of how fast particles are moving. What's a particle? Shut up, kid.
Ice is just cold water.
No, hold on. Don't
Earth.
get into this argument.
Not again.
That is going to ruin this heart.
I really appreciate that somewhere in the world, someone just agreed with Angler about how ice is water. Thank you.
Oh, you were going to make so many people mad. The dragons fight over this constantly.
Ice is a rock and water is lava. Thank you, Nix.
Thank you, Nix, for agreeing with Spite. Thank you. Someone gets it. Anyway.
See, the real one that people never think about is how rain is actually Earth.
I'm going to tear apart Yang's medicine chest.
He
So
took
question,
it with him?
Did Yang bring the whole cabinet with him? Sana?
Sana may have stepped away, but in my assumption, Yang just always has that
It's
on him.
portable. That's
Oh
the
no,
point.
when he's saying that he's going to tear it apart
Oh,
at some
okay,
point.
that was a statement.
That is not me saying that old man is going to go do that right now, because I did not assume that
I was
Yang
taking a
left it
leak.
behind.
Yeah, it's always on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't assuming that Yang left it behind. I was saying the moment Yang is back, old man is
Now,
going to jump you.
The centrifuge that the Mercury
That is on the boat.
pulped on, that's still on the boat if you want to go look
If
at
you
that.
can, you can go sniff that. There might be some stuff left in there.
Oh,
still.
hold
Who
on a
knows?
second.
You want to spin the wheel?
The centrifuge is still on the boat.
Yeah, it's fucking huge. I can't take it with me.
Yeah, it's like an orrery.
Old man is
It's-
going to
yeah,
open it
it's-
up
it's
and
a
is going
giant
to
orb with a
inquisitively
bunch
look
of-
to see if the bird is still in it.
Is there anything in there actually?
So, roll me. I was about to ask for a pool and realized that old man has fuck all in it, so I will give you a compromise of perception occult.
What were you going to ask me to do?
Perception investigation.
Ah.
All right, still make him do it, and then just have Angler make the roll.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
You know what? Sure. Okay. Yeah.
All right, well, that is the
Well,
other
I know
one.
you already rolled, so whatever.
Mhm.
So
I will
you
go ahead and spend my 1 free one to make this a 3 success look.
You pop the top off the orrery's central orb, and a couple of things strike you at once. Is first, there's a couple of feathers in there that never perpetuated out. They're just kind of crusted onto the sides of the orb. And second, it's kind of dented on the inside, like something very, very heavy was smashed around on the inside of it at full speed. And
That was my baby toe, of course.
third, hey, there's a couple of drops of mercury still at the bottom there that didn't get all the way spun out.
All right. Old man is going to go ahead and lean entire body into this, basically. And he's going to look very, very hard at the mercury.
Old man
At the
crawling into the
Quicksilver.
washing machine.
Just oozing the jointless body into the bowl.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna fucking drink out of the orb like a doggy bowl?
He's going to really, really just think about this. And by that, I mean he's actually going to charge sorceress modes into this to see if it reacts.
Nah. Nah, it's
Stays
just kind of
inert.
it's just kind of sitting there.
Does not start moving around like a whole bunch of ants crawling on the inside of the orb.
It just looks like liquid metal.
All right, so I don't know how big this thing actually is. Is it like the size of like a dog bed?
Probably around that size, maybe a little smaller.
So
Yeah.
to actually get his entire body in there, he did have to crunch himself up a little bit.
You're contorting to get inside.
Like Yang could probably fit in it, so
Yeah, so he's
takes
going to.
It takes contortion to get in, or not having joints.
yeah, it's not pleasant to be in, but you can get in it.
Just
Yeah,
a note
alright,
to
so
put
he's
on the
going to-
table. At this point, old man has become like the Pillar Man's shitty uncle.
He's going to wiggle on out.
the weird, gross Pillar Man.
Full on.
Cars avoids him at Thanksgiving.
Yes. He's gonna wiggle his way out. He is not going to have just rubbed that mercury all up on him. Instead, he is going to then announce to everyone. All right, either he had all the magic bullshit of it, or that's just normal stuff. If it was proper, it would have started crawling around like a whole bunch of ants the moment that it was infused with the energy of its surroundings.
Would you like to inspect the gauntlets to see if that energy is still there?
Oh no, that's a different material at this point, and I don't care about moon silver.
Well, Iron Fist leans over to Obsidian. Hey boss, I've got a confession.
Hmm.
I kind of wanted to close the lid and spin it and see what happened.
Just deep
didn't you?
breath from Obsidian. Yeah, same, but we really shouldn't.
I'm pretty
Hey.
sure that would count as murder if something happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it, you fucking cowards. Just do it. What, you don't want to have something cool happen? You don't want to get the old man juice?
When you put it like that way, absolutely not.
Liquid
Oh.
copper.
I will not juice old man.
Cowards. Cowards, the lot of you.
All the skin begins to extrude from the export part and just gets stuck.
Extrude man.
Extrude skin.
There's a film of a slight patina over the fluid.
The gray robes are floating around in the background of all of these scenes, just taking minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was my hopes actually gotten up for a moment. Been a long time since I even had hopes. That's interesting.
Is that good?
Probably not, actually.
Hmm.
Clack, clack, clack. Gonna go back to doing what old man normally does of fuck all.
You have an
And pout a
extendo
little bit in
tongue.
this particular case and wait for the others to come back.
You're not gonna use your extendo tongue to slurp it up.
It's just normal Mercury. That's not what he's looking for.
But what if?
Well, who's the coward now?
Old man rarely accuses people of cowardice.
That was Doc accusing you of cowardice for not doing it.
That was me accusing old man of cowardice as newbie.
As for the toe, I'll say that is just a small enough piece of the spell that it is just counted as normal damage and come back.
Pose grow back.
No,
An old man fix it too.
I can probably fix it.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, if you're in metal mode, we could probably weld it back on.
That's why he was saying, hey, do you know where that is?
No, specifically when the bird was destroyed and the elements were rendered out, it turned into elemental copper that then sublimated into raw essence because it was not actually it was not a physical object, it was a sorcerer's extension.
We could probably weld on a replacement toe.
Yeah, probably.
Cast a spell of copper to flesh.
Ooh.
So what's our next move?
Or since it's
Burn
part of the
in-
wood, just like splice in some more wood. Extrude wood.
Turn wiring to meat.
Old man is a carpentry project now.
Does anybody know Sticks to Snakes?
But anyway, unless there is further ado, the next, the 2 weeks of the boat catching up, I don't really have anything else on the agenda, and it would arrive by descending Earth 4. So there is one last little bit of time skip for other things to address.
So
I guess
Kingdom.
the only thing that Obsidian would probably do at some point on the ride home, as soon as we start getting closer, if he ever sees a Rhyton, he would pretty much hand it a letter that says, "Hey, when you get a sec, find your wife. We need to sit down and talk about something."
Okay.
I have something, but it's not until the whole party's back together.
Yeah, and very much in the tone of like, sort of an emergency, but
As
nothing.
quickly as possible, don't go with your pants on fire, but
Yeah,
when you can.
Does Obsidian bring that up around Old Man or Angler, or no?
not expressly. Again, this is still just something that Obsidian is well, like, it is the factor of like, do you see him handing the bird a letter? Which maybe you do, and you don't really think anything about it because, as you know, a high ranked merit, he's probably exchanging letters with Sun all the time.
if you're not going to be forthcoming about what the letter's about, he's not going to pry. But it'd be more of like, oh, okay, correspondence is happening. Cool.
Yep. Again, he would not expressly tell them because, as far as he's concerned, until he has information on it, the shit with his dad is something that he needs to figure out. But as soon as he has the information, he'd probably be like, yeah, I went to them and all that.
All right, so as far as things to fit into the background while we time skip forward, since that does mean we're just going to pass by the high earthen days. So as part of like a way to start, well, it's not going to succeed at de-stressing him until the matter is settled, but as a way to feel productive and possibly fish for more ideas about what to do. Part of the earthen observances, Repose will set up some effigies of the recently deposed ruler and other notable figures within his court, and people will be, invited to pelt them with things, shout out accusations,
Hell yeah.
air grievances with. Let everyone share their anger about how awful the last high season was.
Do all the things that you couldn't do.
Hateful Eyes Guy Fawkes Day.
Yes. And alongside that, just quietly collect accusations against those who are currently imprisoned. All of these known loyalists who have been dragged in.
Yeah, get me a manipulation socialize to. Yeah, socialize to get the good stuff.
Three.
Yeah, you're able to get a pretty solid body of supporting evidence on everybody that Guan had on the list and in the prison. Not down to every individual person, but like a pretty solid, yeah.
It do be like that.
It do be like that, though.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, the other time skip thing to do then, if it is not too much of an ask to Milan, is to, well, actually, we're now also within, like, reasonable overland jogging range as well, so one way or the other, Repose will go back to the monastery. No, it can wait. It can wait. The checking in. Like, we'll suppose that. So I'm thinking about the adoption offer first and foremost, which we can say that the items for that haven't been handed over yet. That we're thinking about doing that whole transaction further along for dramatic convenience. So actually, no need to report in yet.
Okay.
Repose will have made some observances at the icon in private.
Okay. So
He's getting back into his routines.
Yep. By the time the boat is docked close enough in the canal to get the group via flyover to the Trident River Valley, it is descending Earth 4. It is a little less than a half a week before the birthday incident. And there is a point when they dock where a Raiton does just directly come up to the boat and seems to be kind of like there for its own purposes, but when it is handed the letter, it just kind of reads it, nods, and heads off. And as the crew is on the way back to the Trident River Valley, Guan takes his leave for about a half a day to go out and get Sybil and bring her back in. She seems kind of like she is winding down after doing something like a project. Maybe you're not entirely sure what, but she seems to be like letting herself relax in a way that insinuates that she was actually putting herself into something. So Milan had something to say for when everybody got together.
Yeah, this is probably best when we have everyone plus solar lunar pair.
Yeah, and they can be involved when you want, but they would be waiting.
Okay. It was something they could be there optionally for.
Okay. And that would be up to the rest of the group.
I mean, Obsidian on a whole has no. He's not against it.
All right. So, Obsidian,
Mm-hmm.
who do you think sent that information to your father?
No clue.
No clue? Yeah.
I
I do have speculations, which is why I've sent out a letter already. To Purple. I don't know if they have received it, but if it was Purple
Wait, you know their address?
I got creative. They've been
Okay,
leaving
you made some shit up. Okay, gotcha.
at this. Milan's going to feel a little getting correctly called out on. Oh, you did something stupid, didn't you?
I mean, that's how I operate. So
Obsidian has a look on his face of fucking air aspect. Can you just fucking think for a second? His look of every goddamn time.
Yep. Well,
This post brought to you by the Air Aspect Gang.
So I'm not holding anything back with you guys. What I put in that letter was pretty much this. If he was the one who gave that information to your father, that was a step over the line and a direct attack on us. We have not, at no point have we directly gone against him, so hey, what the fuck?
didn't I fuck up his plan by stealing a letter?
Did you intend to directly fuck with him doing that?
I intended to fuck with the Inquisitor.
And how are we supposed to know he was working with the Inquisitor? Sorry, how should we know they were working with the Inquisitor?
Magic.
How aggressively worded was this letter?
Oh, you know me. I'm overly polite.
That did not answer my question.
Did you threaten him?
I told them that if this was not their fault, then no harm, no foul, bygones speak up bygones. If not, they need to come speak to us directly.
This is a really bold plan you've concocted, my brother.
And if this was their plan to get at us, you have sent them a message that said, "Good job, you did it." And now they know that this is how they can do it again in the future.
I told them that we do not know or care about what they're doing, and they are taking it upon themselves to attack us.
I mean, like, I'm down with threatening him if you just want to do that.
As that at this point, out of character, I wish I had actually saved that letter so I could refer back to it.
If only there was some sort of recording that we can look at later.
Yeah.
Which we can always, retcon things.
But in general,
Yeah, and
the gist of the letter was, "Dear Purple, rude, love
Yeah.
Milan." It was
Yeah,
not
that
like a threat, just dick move. Come on.
yeah,
let's
that
talk.
was calling out, "Hey, dick move. We didn't know we were messing with you. Why did you knowingly mess with us?"
The same energy as Obsidian's call-out letter to Sun and Sybil.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't, "How dare you?"
If
We'll
you
get
want
back at
help,
you.
ask.
Yeah.
Like, we stepped on your toes. If you do not want us to step on your toes, please tell us where your toes are.
And again, I guess just in the timeline here, Obsidian had just finished what he had said. Would have actually turned to propose again. There are other people in this group that have a cult, but every time occult things come up, Repose seems to be the one that is most educated. So whenever occult things occur, he looks to Repose, just because I'm from the military. Give me some insight here. What is Purple's actual deal? I know that may be a dumb, loaded, unanswerable question. I don't know.
Stern nodding.
What on earth is that?
That's an intercult pool.
No,
Throw along to reassure, to reaffirm with. Well, we already, from prior larger, better roles, established the extent to which Repose knows anything about the gap that sidereals occupy.
The limits of what you would know about a sidereal are already there.
And also, in response to chat, no, that's exactly it. Obsidian knows he is putting his foot in his mouth, but he is trying to react to a situation where he doesn't have information. That's not something Obsidian does.
Silly question. Can I make an occult roll using our friend as an idea of trying to get to the specifics of this individual purple?
Say that again?
Can I make an intelligence occult roll using my specialty, our friend, as trying to get to the specifics of this individual purple? Is there anything different about them depending on what I've heard about from the hearings?
Go ahead and roll. So the letter differences, the ones that you would ascribe to purple, maybe, the ones that were initial are more terse and bureaucratic, and the one from the Inquisitor was rather rushed and desperate. This feels like somebody who is trying to keep a lid on this.
Oh, this is a bureaucrat in over their head because we're messing up the status quo.
The prior statements about the extent of what Repose knows did amount to, having on the table, heaven has spies. This is a spy. This is an agent of fate.
This is a spy, and hey, you're all agents of fucking chaos, and hey, what if you are just constantly bumbling directly into whatever he's trying to do?
Which is where Milan's letter comes in is, "Hey, we're a bull in a china shop. Maybe you should talk to us."
And that is where I would have Angler's instinct say, what if you are not part of his like, what if you being successful is not part of the plan?
Which is
maybe not in a malicious way, but like,
which is the amount of information that Obsidian was trying to get of, hey, what if we are the problem?
What if that is basically what Angler's gut instinct is? His officers. Wait, what if we're the problem actually? What if?
And with
Yep.
that was something Milan hadn't considered.
Unless they decide to appear and explain to themselves in earnest. This is exactly the profession that makes a point of making discerning motives difficult. Such forces exist to uphold the heavenly order. And Repose will not even continue talking about that and just start dismissively and unpleasantly waving his hand.
Yeah.
If you get Repose talking about nature, he will be more interested in going off and being poetic and trying to spin up useful metaphors and so forth. But the stars.
Milan is rubbing his brow. Repose, has heaven allied itself with Tyrant?
Repose is tired enough to not get inflamed about that idea and just skip directly to all right, skip directly to the it is useless to speak of heaven as one unit.
Cool, working with
Consider
Realm.
precisely the caliber of person who feels obliged to often claim to know heaven's will as a single coherent doctrine.
Okay, so we're working with
The heavens
realm
have no
politics. Got it.
alignment save to themselves.
Milan has a horrible, sinking, familiar feeling.
Yeah, good. We're working with realm politics. Okay.
Space politics.
It's just
Noticing the lack of explosion from Repose, Angler would like to make a read intentions to see just how frazzled Repose is.
Go ahead. Deep fried.
Okay. He's going to frown a little bit about that, but we have other things to talk about. We'll talk about that later.
Well, in that case, I have made an entreaty to someone who may view us as an enemy. If they choose to respond, that is up to them.
Oh God. Oh no.
Yes, accurate.
Bird up.
Why are you hiding from me, young Milan? Tell me where it is!
Milan slips out the back door.
Milan, I'd rather ask forgiveness than permission at this point. If we're the cog in the machine that's out of alignment, if we're causing problems, then they can come talk to us directly. Until then, we keep doing what we're doing.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Yang in this room?
Yes.
Does Yang
Yes.
want to be in this room?
Old man in this.
I guess that would be the right question.
Are we both in this room?
Probably. Milan probably said, "Old man, I need you to come do a thing."
Are we at the point where I can take over and just start doing things?
I would say yes.
I mean, that's always up to you.
Slam the backpack on the table and look at old man.
I see you. I see you've already felt that I've heard of the situation.
Whimsy took me and I accidentally sublimated your toe, so you deserve compensation. So let me just kind of rummage around in here and see.
Now
Wait,
hold on. I
What?
rummage around in there.
What? Are you Sure? Do you even know where the hell anything would be?
Old man is going to calmly walk up to the chest,
I let this
open
happen.
up one of the containers, and he's gonna wiggle his way in there.
How much Ganoderma will it take to end this
the over there.
conversation?
Oh god. Oh no, he's
Oh
never.
no, old man has entered your inventory.
Yang is just going to start opening up every drawer in the thing so he has as many exit points as possible because he's actually worried about this.
You are
Just open
over encumbered now.
You open your Icewind Dale inventory slots, and 6 of them are taken up by Old Man, and it just keeps slithering around the inside of it.
Can't click on it.
Would you like us to get him out?
No.
Obsidian would put an arm in front of Angler. No.
Clattering
No.
and bashing and rattling from inside of the cabinet as Old Man is sliding around the inside in an impossibly large space.
Let this
I'm
happen.
in there
It's
messing up
funnier.
your pots and pans, Yang. I'm
Old
like
man.
a heron.
Old man in there yelling about Yang's RE4 attaches.
Maria, look at this shit!
He doesn't even have his grenades color coordinated.
Why would you move the pistol? Let's find where it starts!
Why are you leaving these individual red and green herbs uncombined?
You know what they say, never leave poo on a table.
Oh, fuck. I'm just gonna make just a generic luck roll to see what the hell comes out of this.
Yang, how many miracles do you think you're
Oh
losing?
no!
Oh no. I was going to say how many miracles do you think you're losing, but the answer is all of them, it seems. So good luck with that.
This. Fuck, what do you even do with this narratively?
Old Man, roll me stamina resistance.
Yeah, no problem, dog. Thankfully, I'm pretty good at that. Did I remember to boost my resistance? I probably did.
Probably.
Yes, I did.
I've got
Oh
this
my!
right.
Oh boy!
I cannot believe this.
Suffer heaven's wrath.
So close.
Are you about to fucking die because you wandered in my inventory?
I will tell you if this was a quadrupotch, I had a vague idea of what was about to happen, but no. Just
There are
barely no.
extremely source collision noises going on in your bag.
I'm gonna
right
whack,
now.
I'm gonna whack, and I'm gonna whack.
Oh god, the frame rate of everyone in the party just drops.
Too many collisions happening at once. Oh no!
Several potions are typing.
Okay.
Can't believe you have in your chest here Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia that anyone can edit.
You my fucking journal, you weirdo.
So, 2 things happen. Number 1 is Old Man gets his hand on a bottle of unlabeled pills.
No, don't eat my 4 pills, you stupid asshole.
Time for floor.
Compensation is compensation.
He just opens up the pill bottle and tips it into the mouth, takes a bite, swallows it down, and there is a brief pause. Just the horrible stillness. Hang on, do I have a quickly queued up music for this? Not offhand. I'll just let this keep going. And then 2 things happen at once. First thing that happens is that one of Yang's 1,000 miracles is defense mechanisms on the inside of the cabinet.
Yeah, that would make sense. You somehow
Which-
trigger the death measures.
Just to say, as Old Man is turning around to head back out, Old Man accidentally bumps his forehead into a bear trap. The bear trap snaps shut around Old Man's neck, and only Old Man's impossible physiology prevents this from being instant death. In Old Man's case, it's deeply unpleasant.
Okay, all right. Not the first time this has happened. Not
So
gonna be the
there's
last.
a loud, just very loud metallic snap from the inside as Yang realizes what just
Oh
happened.
god, that could be one of 5 things. That's either the mouse trap, the bear trap, the man trap.
Milan
The other
gives a very audible eep
You have a bear trap in there?
Well,
How do you expect a bear to enter your medicine cabinet?
well, I mean, it's not. There's more than one kind of bear. Anyways, we're moving on from
And a
that.
cloud of flames comes out of the back of the cabinet in every open cabinet drawer.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to restock all that fuel.
As old man, roll me your essence,
Roll me your essence.
like your essence rating.
Oh, okay. Well, pretty good actually.
Okay. Old man, after the sudden torrent of flame, manages to crawl his way back out of the cabinet, and what can only be described as you ever see one of those metallic canisters of gas get overfilled and start to buckle but not quite fail?
Ooh.
Concerning.
That is what old man looks like right now, as flames are continuing to shoot out the ears, mouth, eyes, and nose.
Is this new?
He ate the floor pills.
Wait, what did you eat in there?
There's a lot of toasty in there, gang. Why do you keep it at such high temps?
A dex dodge from Yang.
Fuck.
Stepping away a moment.
What is my? I'm pretty sure this is just a 10. Yeah, this is just a 10.
Do you want him to vomit it up to get it out? What's the plan here?
Yang is able to duck before the flames catch onto the head, but yeah, no. Just reporting, yeah, I ate some pills.
And you're not dead.
No, clearly. Do I look dead to you?
Oddly enough, old man does not actually feel any pain. It's kind of a mild discomfort.
I've personally have felt worse.
Also, yeah, old man still does have the bear trap wrapped around the head.
Do you want me to take that?
Completely just had the metal distort around it.
I'm not strong enough to remove this, for what it's worth. Obsidian, could you give me a hand?
I'll take care of it. Actually, wait, you're on fire. Obsidian can take care of it.
That's why he asked for Obsidian, yes.
Angor
It's not
walks
just
up,
because
reaches
he's the
up,
biggest
and
and
tries-
strongest.
Wait, hang on.
Biggest, yes.
So, Sona,
Also
roll me-
strongest.
Nope.
Yeah.
Obsidian has 5 strength.
I have 5 strength.
roll
Yeah,
me
but he's
your
also a
intelligence
giant.
plus craft chemistry to figure out what the hell is going on inside of him.
Is going on inside of him. I think that's a 3 for my crafter. Did I make that a 4? That's a 3. So 8d10. Man, fuck if I know.
Actually, no, you have a hunch. Probably from the sounds of it, if it was unlabeled pills, then it was one of your experiments that just kind of went sideways, that you were just saving for a rainy day or as a possible way to kill somebody. And from the looks of it, it's possible that it's lit his meridians on fire? And it's just kind of venting it uncontrollably. And normally this would be a horrible death sentence to any sort of mortal, except old man is so incredibly well aligned with internal alchemy that he's just able to stay together and keep venting the pressure until the reaction's going to stop.
You see, my cleavage lines are perfect.
So I'm probably going to be staring at this fucking dumbfounded because
By every right, old man should be literally having his soul cook himself to death. But
like this shouldn't work like this. But it is, so clearly it can.
like the pressure is starting to slowly get relieved as it's being vented like a flaming balloon.
I'm gonna time my head tilting to the. It's probably gonna sound like a balloon squealing off, right? I'm gonna tilt my head to that basically, so it's fully cocked to the side when it's just nothing but the.
Once the
little
flames start to gutter out.
Yeah.
Old man,
Well,
you
that's-
feel.
Huh.
Old man, you feel refreshed. Honestly, You don't know exactly what just happened, but you kind of feel great, like you could go for a run.
Interesting.
Breakthrough achieved.
You know, Yang, I'm going to go ahead and look at Yang, like venting more fire directly at him.
Yeah, but
I think that's compensation enough. I feel great.
what?
Fireball directly in your direction.
Old man, step back.
Got those old man Hadoukens.
I got the Hadoukens coming out.
Wait, did I just accidentally wake up that corpse's meridians?
That's entirely possible. You might have reawoken part of the spiritual metabolism that was kind of stuck.
I think I just jump-started your nervous system or some shit.
Possible.
Well, you did by the bold pioneering of eating like fucking floor pills. Don't do that again.
Tired Repose will still briefly slide in to the corner of this scene to whisper, "That's not a corpse," and then slide back away.
I mean, is it a rental or is it? Well, I guess it's just his now, right?
I'm just alive.
He's just
Yeah.
old.
Sure, the body probably died once, but it's not dead right now, is it?
If you made a meat puppet, could you slide into that?
Old man is going to go and without like answering Yang's question, he's going to purse his like lips and he's going to like get as thin of a mouth as possible going. He's going to try to see if he can make like a high pressure long distance fireball.
Aimed at what?
Oh, just that, he's not aiming at the boat or
Okay.
anything like that. Yeah. I'm not going to destroy the ship by doing this, trust me.
We're not at
He's
the ship
just
anymore.
doing sick.
You're
We're-
in the outskirts of the Trident River Valley.
Well, wherever we are, I'm not going to destroy anything. Old man is just doing cool vape tricks.
Yes, good.
Stamina cult. One
I'm
dice
good at
stop,
both of
two dice
those.
stop.
Yang, I know a lot of other things are going on, but I'm really confused. Why was there a bear trap in there?
Protection.
Sometimes you gotta kidnap a bear from the forest for your very half-assed plans.
Old
How's
man-
the... What? Okay.
Old man is able to exhale the last bit of flame from the inside of the meridians out in a gout of smoke and fire that coalesces into the shape of a mountain.
What? Hold on a second. Old man is going to like furiously he is suddenly extremely focused on this mountain. Hold on. Ah.
The wind is
Oh,
already making you blow away.
No. He's going to kick directly into the sand to maybe get a rough shape of it.
Alright, roll the... Oh, what would that be? A dexterity craft to try to, make an image of it super quickly.
He's going to be doing this with his feet because he's just got the most dexterity down there at this point in his life. And just... He's going to try and, specifically with the extending limbs, pretty much just do long single, carves into the ground, if he can help it, as he draws down what... He's not very good at drawing, but this entire shape, he's got to get it committed to memory.
Yes.
It is catching him off guard, but he has to.
Yeah, one dice down.
Oh, thank God. I'm also going to spend one more willpower anyway.
Now,
Why is this
what
so much?
what part of Old Man's foot is doing the drawing?
It's his heel, mostly.
So what you're saying is Old Man willingly touched the ground.
What do you think is extending from his heel?
Damn it.
Yeah.
You are able to perfectly memorize the shape of the mountain. And something something way at the back of your brain is just ringing a bell that you can't quite remember. Of some, this specific shape looks familiar. This specific silhouette looks familiar. It's not the Blessed Mountain. You can accidentally categorically say it's not this one.
I mean, if it was the Blessed Mountain, it would just be tall and never stopping.
Yeah. But
4 pills.
there's something about the shape that just is a very deep primal. I recognize this.
Repose. This is the first time I will request anything of anyone. I need you to do me a favor.
Rose is there.
I need this permanent. Look at the ground. Make a permanent recreation of that.
Huh.
I will never ask you or anyone else ever a thing ever again.
Didn't you just ask Obsidian to?
That wasn't that was not actually extremely a requirement. He was actually going to be fine with the bear trap. This is an actual existential, like, I need this, no really, request.
All right, so as a preliminary thing, Repose, who, again, it is weird to see him without one of his hands occupied by the stick. He is still dressed down from his full gear right now. But this does mean that both of his hands are free for one of them to just bring out a slab and the other to, be ready with the old edge and compass. He will just very, very gently, methodically start constructing out the shape of the mountain.
And he's going to backseat you the entire time with this.
One dice stomped on it. All right, Repose is able to sketch out a permanent etching of this shape. And what doesn't quite have the same reaction as Old Man, the specific shape of it resonates oddly. This
has good numbers in it. It was really convenient to put it together. It's a very agreeable arc.
The shapes fit together in a weirdly smooth way. It has the suggestion of continual upward movement. Like, there's a swooping upwards in most of the angles and lines.
Now, would you like that cast or carved, or will the diagram suffice?
This will do, I think. I'm Mountain.
Well, if you have a next last request that you will ever make of me, I am always prepared to oblige. Great mountain sage.
Going to grab this slab, and he's actually going to look down at the ground and at this, and go again.
Which, asterisk
Climb
for
up.
the audience, something that I'm not sure has ever been stated on a recording. At some point, I decided that, like, teen Repose first met Old Man and was very respectful of this wise hermit out of belief that surely this old man has cool tricks to learn before eventually, becoming acquainted with Old Man properly.
Mm-hmm. He does have cool tricks, he just can't learn them.
He's just also awful, awful mountain man.
Yes. Twice in one day, I've been reminded of long, not forgotten, but long-standing goals. Unbelievable. Old man coughs up a little bit, spits out one last little bit of fire from his mouth. Where was this? I swear I've seen it before. Gonna go ahead and he's gonna be carrying this with him permanently now for a long, long time.
At this, Milan's going to turn to Obsidian, and I'm sorry about the whole letter thing. I know it was your father and all.
Pause from Obsidian because, again...
Apologies from... Sorry, I was being an air aspect.
It is the thing of... you had the right idea. You're just trying to protect us, but god damn it, just think for once. How would he voice this though? I guess just in that way, just say, just a very abrupt, not abrupt, but very short. It's fine. Your heart was in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't worry about it.
All right, I think that's that scene, unless...
Real quick here, Angler's actually going to use wind carried words to well, no, Milan's talking with Obsidian, to actually Yang and ask a quick question. Yang, how long has Repose been on edge? I said, send another wind carried word. Has it been a recent few things? Has anything been out of place? He seems a little more, tired.
I was with Milan for most of that, so.
But didn't Repose? I forget. Wasn't that a scene of Repose?
We're right now at our first meeting since.
Oh, okay.
This is still the first point of reunion for you two to be back with the crew.
Well, no. I'd say, didn't you tell Yang and...
Yeah, Yang and Milan were told that.
Oh, yeah, right.
To whatever degree that they are willing to pry on the subject.
Right, Yang would know about this. Let me think. You know how I fucked up?
Yes, you know how I fucked up?
Yeah. His turn.
Okay.
It happens. It could be worse. I think he's working through it.
Is this something we need to talk about as a group, or let him come to us?
Eventually, but, whenever he feels like it.
Just,
Where's the cat?
as they say, when the mountain is ready to talk to me, it will just show up on my doorstep.
Actually, that's what I was trying to get around.
Mountain's known for
Where's the cat?
relocating.
Where is the cat?
Moat's place has not been established, so Moat can be anywhere.
Moat is unaccounted for.
Moat is inside the backpack. Moat is also going for the floor pills.
Moat has a
Seriously,
Moat
does
has
it have a
acquired,
connection to some other place? Could a bear walk into your backpack from another location?
Yes.
What?
No.
If we would like Moat to be on scene, Moat just emerging from the backpack, having stolen a preserved dead bird. Like one that had been in taxidermied or otherwise set aside for some specimen purpose, but just nope, mine now.
Yeah.
I found this.
Good job. You really want. Good job, Moat. You did it.
If Moat doesn't look particularly worried, concerned, because Moat is a good gauge of Repose, then Angler's not going to press it just yet, but he's definitely going to be keeping an eye on Repose for the next little bit.
Moat seems to be keeping an eye on Repose, but is not overly skittish.
Okay.
It will not need to be that long of a wait because
Yeah, there also is the scheduled meeting with Sun and Sybil that we can go to next.
I need to go put food
And-
away. I'll be right back.
all right.
How dare
And
you.
before arriving at that repose, we'll just approach Obsidian. And it is weird to have his usual amount of pre-conversation pause, but without him trying to make any small talk or filler noise.
Mhm.
Observe.
There are nearly 100 of them. Confined.
Alright.
A dozen already killed in incidents leading up to the arrests.
And yeah, Obsidian would
As
know the letter
described.
said as much.
Yes.
Alright, well.
I did not finalize a day of judgment for them to allow some flexibility for in case your travels were more eventful.
hmm
And they are the filth that crows refuse to eat.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling when I first met them, but I assume it is a lot of the remainder of the army.
The full army
It was-
of the valley numbered in thousands of people.
It was just one outpost.
I worded incorrectly. They are mostly from the army, is kind of what I meant. Words came out weird.
It's about 2/3 army members and then a third about civilians. So
Family members just otherwise involved in the
administrators, bureaucrats.
Political firebrands.
What is the population of the Trident River Valley?
Around 5,000?
Okay, that's still a sizable amount.
It's the size, but it's mainly the people that were in a position to gain advantage from so on and so forth.
It is a village worth of people who have knowingly taken arms against the natural order.
It is a moment of severe. Obsidian is at odds with himself because it is the kind of thing that he does not know how to deal with the situation. In military, he was taught that when you give an order and it is disobeyed to such a degree, that's treason right there. You did the bad. But
More than disobedience, it is rebellion. Insurgency.
that number of people.
And like you've heard in the past how Repose sounds when he is getting psyched up for righteous violence, and none of that is here.
Mm-hmm. And again, an out of character thing. Obsidian doesn't like thinking about killing that many people. Somebody like Axe, that's easy. That's one guy, and that is a monster. 100 people, he hates the thought. But at the same time, they're trash. They're garbage people. And it is those two aspects of him that are at odds right now. What was your plan?
None of
Brother.
my plans were terribly suited to the task. This is not the usual arrangement of things for me.
Obsidian, being blunt, just assumes you mean the undead. Which might be what you mean, but
Angler, meanwhile, is probably picking up more what is being put down.
I don't know if I'm allowed to enter the scene or not.
Wouldn't you?
Propose is making no attempt to keep this off to the side.
This was. This is
Being
like
loud and visible about something unpleasant is the point for Propose right
Okay.
now.
I
That
didn't know
this
if
is
you two
something
were off
that
to the
should
side.
not happen in secrecy.
Okay.
and I would say at this point, Obsidian is so at odds with himself that he would not be picking up on anything.
Okay, hold on a moment, please. Could you describe the situation a little bit further about what's going on here?
When I went and visited the army on my own after the war, I found exactly what I expected to find, which was a partial number of the army very much not loyal to the axe himself, but loyal to the ideas that he had because they liked the life they were living. You know, abusing the people of the valley.
They were
And,
warlorders.
Yes. And I gave them a very stern talking to with the blunt side of my sword when they did not take my lecture standing.
How many people is this?
You remember Son's letter saying that he found some dissonance and killed a number and then
Wait, that
gathered
was
up
shared
the
with the
rest?
whole crew? I thought that was just Obsidian and Repose.
I think that was just Obsidian Repose.
Oh, was that just us? Oh, my mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if that was shared with everybody.
Okay.
They deliberately. Repose
Well, that was
deliberately
what
didn't
you,
kill anyone else.
Okay.
Well, some people had to be told about it because that was how the reply was sent
Right.
with the request.
My misunderstanding. I
The
apologize.
part that Repose left out was Sybil's offer to train soldiers.
Right.
Ah, okay. So
Oh.
we were informed.
So what's the sticking point?
They're
Like, why don't we just kill him and be done with it? Just hang
That
him.
is what.
read intentions on Obsidian.
Just gonna say that is what Axe would do.
What
That's a
even is
waste of
reading?
resources.
What does the benevolent ruler do with?
Well,
I
Yang, have you...
I will wait for read intentions to immediately give Obsidian's response to it's a
Yang,
waste
have
of
you,
resources.
in your time, ever...
Okay, yeah, Angler gets that conflicted feelings because you beat any defense I had of they're garbage. They're garbage people. They're the worst. They're irredeemable.
It's for us. We're doing this for
Yang, have you ever killed 100 men?
yeah,
At
probably
once?
about once. No.
In one place?
So what? Doing it all at once is the problem. We just want to drag it out. Do we want to lessen the number? Do like weed out anyone that has the potential to refocus? Because in that case, I would publicly announce the names, and if anyone comes to collect one of these assholes, then keep an eye on them and kill the rest. I don't know.
I would not want to bloody the hands of those that don't need it.
Has there been a trial or anything for these people?
Sun has caught all of them red-handed in dissonance.
It would have on the list of things I wanted to bring up during the Sun meeting. Did he have any tangible evidence to share about how he found out about this conspiracy?
Primarily, his major method of finding about the conspiracy was generally overseeing seditious meetings via just him being his usual self and having animal panopticon going, and then narrowing it in and following the social web via investigation and picking up bits and pieces of red-handed evidence. They didn't literally write everything down, but like
We have them with
his
firm intent
testimony.
to. We have them like with firm intent to destabilize, I guess, basically through some nebulous.
Anything
Basically,
more
yeah.
tangible than a little bird told me?
No, he would have several pieces of like older like correspondences and current correspondences, weapons that are not supposed to be in the hands of current people, current like holding on to older symbols and political ideal like
Okay, so like some evidence.
yes, like there is hard concrete evidence that he would have collected. Yes.
I think the point in case is that there is no denying that these 100 people are a problem. And
just have
they're
have to narrowly out of focus invent what specifically they're trying to like either embezzle, set up some sort of racketeering bullshit, set up some sort of
they're trying to
something
return the town to the days of the axe.
like how they were actualizing that specifically instead
I'm-
of just
Yeah, what Sun is getting to is a lot of them are trying to return to where they were with the axe, not necessarily saying that they are going to overthrow the government to do it. So you can't say 100 of these people are irredeemable because we don't know that for certain. A lot of them might just be along for the ride because there's no governing body there anymore to stop them because repose isn't there.
and then we can work down from there.
Angler's concern, and he's actually going to say it this way, is look, if you kill 100 people this quickly and in one spot, you're killing a 50th of the people that are here. That is an enormous amount of manpower that you are throwing away. If you have these people, and even some of them are redeemable, or perhaps in some way can be used for manual labor, you have a labor force that you can use. I'm not saying treat them like garbage, or you can use them in many other different ways. But
Yang's Yakuman senses are kicking in. Have
Yeah.
we asked anyone who's been directly affected by these people?
Repose has his list of accusations that he's been collecting.
So we should probably here give it to me. I'll do my superhero thing and start collecting subpoenas. I guess, civil service. Who we got?
Roll me presence charisma to
This one-
act.
This was a thought process I was having at a point of if the deaths. Well, actually, I guess that's not a thing that Yakuman would do, but like Yakuman interfering in this to an extent to dish out justice is an actual a way out.
No.
One. Well, and I'm not okay. Dishing out justice, bad phrasing, but like
Actualize the grievances of victims against their
finding
Abuser.
a solution. There we go. That's the phrasing I meant. I mean,
solution is reparations. We need to know who's been
Yes.
hurt first.
yes, whatever justice comes has to come from Repose, period. We
Yeah.
cannot have an outside person come in and deal with this issue. This has to come from Repose. What I'm worried about is that Repose was known to have gone to the island for the past 3.5 months, and if the justice meted is considered to be too much, the people are going to consider that it's another person from the island coming in and installing their base and installing fear. We cannot make it seem like Repose has been altered, changed, or whatever in this way. This has to be fair.
Which was actually a point I was going to bring up. If the original plan of what Repose had planned ever came to light to Obsidian, he was going to call him out on that extremely.
Repose, what did you want to do with these people?
Oh, you know.
Otherwise situating, but
You know.
You know.
you know.
You know.
You know, young Milan.
Huh?
What?
What?
I
a
just
cool
said
mountain.
you know.
It's a cool mountain you drew.
Angler's not breaking eye contact with Repose on this one.
There
He's
is
waiting for
less.
an
There is
answer.
far less delay in character than there is out of character.
Yeah, I kind of figured, but just making sure the idea is known.
Put them to the test. Make them reveal to all the full extent of their character. And see something according is done. I was prepared to be quite cruel.
Was?
It is an element of how I handle other, smaller situations. Can be an effective method for unraveling more personal affairs, such as the usual scale of my involvement in the ends of people's lives. This is new.
You know when I fucked up?
It wasn't. Oh, all right. Well, I do have a statement I can put in before you.
Go
Angler,
ahead.
it wasn't that long ago that you were prepared to slaughter brigands on the side of the road. You saw how I responded then.
Refresh our
Things unfolded.
brains
So,
here.
A good ways back, while we were passing by the swamp, we got accosted
I remember the situation. I just
by
don't
some
remember
swamp
your
brigands,
response.
and after they were defeated, Repose just kind of did the rounds and made each of them just take a square, flat punch on the face and see just a test of mettle and resolve. And anyone who kind of flinched and faded back from that, making a point of, you're not a fighter, you should not be out. Go get out of here and have a peaceful life.
Go home and be a
And
family
each
man.
person who is confirmed a hardened fighter, all right, that's one. From me to you, establish pecking order. We are both fighters and you lost. Yeah, just get across that. You made a bit of a quick test of character out of it. and then judge people accordingly.
I believe Yang had something
And
there.
you could also be
Okay.
reminded that, at that time, for him, neither route led to death. Just chastisement.
You remember when I fucked up? And we were having a conversation about how you can't trust solars with their powers when there was a town burning outside of our window that I set on fire. That didn't really help anyone, right? We all agree on that.
Correct.
Silent nod.
I mean, like, how long are we going to live? We're gonna fuck up, right? Just as long as you know not to do the bad thing. In the end, it doesn't really matter how you got there. Or else, I probably couldn't live with myself. Don't be me. Don't rely on blind fucking luck to stop you from being a mass murderer.
There.
Yang, your luck is not so blind.
It will run out.
You
though.
understand far more than you are able to put into words. You are a clever and capable man.
Can't turn me into a corn cob about this. God damn it.
Thank you, Yang. You gave me an idea. I was wrong. I don't think this solution should come from repose and only repose. I think they need to be judged by their peers, the people of the Trident River Valley. These people that are being judged are brothers and fathers and mothers and spouses of the other people there. They should be judged by their peers. If we or anyone else of the dragon blood judge them, we're no better than the solars and lunars who came before us. We are meting out justice based on our beliefs rather than the people's.
Thank you.
I was getting there.
I think we're going to perpetuate some sort of cycle unless we use the brain cells to think.
We are also people, though.
Yeah, by the way, why do we just all
But they were
quietly
scheming. Was an attack on me.
Mm.
No matter how far beyond their means, making an attempt on me would be. Their intent was to rise against me. They were placing themselves in conflict with me. I have been personally aggrieved by these. I am involved. They have involved me.
Then make your case to the people. Let them understand your predicament, your place here, because you will place yourself among them, and they will see you not as some sort of king or god, but as a person that they can rely on and trust with. Just like you should trust them to come to the right judgment.
And then what?
Then what the people say happens.
And if they say kill them,
Then the people have made the choice to kill them. That's the
And-
whole idea of a peer system. They are going to be part of this solution so that if they make this choice, they're not going to rise up later saying that we, in our divine judgment, cast these 100 people down and killed them.
and you would put that weight on them?
We have to put that weight on them. This is their country. This is their land. They know what happens when sedition occurs, when treason, when war happens. Too many people are pulled away from farms, from homes, to die. Let them make their own choices. They're human, they're people. They can do this.
Their sedition was an act against their brothers and their neighbors, against the Trident River Valley.
Like, we're at the head of the state, but we're not the state. The people are, right?
In fact, I believe there was a provisional government that was set up.
Bingo.
In fact, I should point out, Repose, you're a priest. Your matters are of religion, not secularism. You are not king.
There's
Propose is going to start going back over that list again and filter for how many of them are claimed to be blasphemers. Just narrow that down to people who have committed religious offense. Set those aside. Earmark them.
There's a distinct look of, like, it's the best way to put this. Anxiety, lack of a better term, on Obsidian's face. Of, like, of the same sense of what he's having, of him struggling to bring himself to damn these people. Just of, you're just gonna ask the populace to do it. They have to make a decision like that.
What, do you think we're better than them?
No, that's the point. I'm struggling with this. I'm thinking of the weight of killing these people, but I hate them. They had multiple chances, and they decided, no, I'm gonna ruin everything because I want to enforce my power over the people a little bit more.
Obsidian. If you kill them, the weight of their deaths is on your shoulders alone.
That's
If
Clack, 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 clack.
if the people
If you're
decide their
talking
fate,
about holding up weight, why in the world do you genuinely believe that
let
you
me
are one
give me a
person
moment.
stronger than many, many, many hundreds of thousands?
Milan's a little in character upset that old man
Snipe to the point.
sniped the point. But
Yeah,
out of
but-
character, I'm grinning like, yes, good, yes.
I'm just going to be honest here, Obsidian. You're very strong, but a good 1,000 people are much stronger than you are.
My point is being, the best way to word it is, I wouldn't wish that fate on anybody to have to do that.
Obsidian, can I ask you a question? Is it really any of your goddamn business? Do any of them actually, like, upend your family? We're gonna go off tomorrow and have adventures. We're gonna forget about this eventually. We live a very long time.
Obsidian, you'll forget about this eventually, right?
Repose is focused in on the list, eyes activated, as he starts thinking about categorizing offenses that folks have committed. Throw down some botch of bureaucracy. Wonderful. The list now makes even less sense. All crimes are equal.
We exist
Repose
to
is too like this is a very simple botch. Repose is too emotionally infuriated and frustrated to. If the goal was I'm going to order this list so I have justification to do no, actually.
I don't
just
want to read any of the words on this slab. This
Yeah.
is blank to me right now.
Your body and mind are just rejecting this rather than try to go through with the goal of what you were doing. This is just no.
I'm going to offer an open palm to Repose of, may I have the tablet?
Ooh.
Hand it over.
I'm going to categorize, and is this is a list of all the offenders and their actions, or is
List
this...
of accusations that have been made against the folks who were arrested.
All right, let's set up a filing system.
All right.
I do want to hear from Sun about this, though, because Sun apparently is the primary source for all these accusations.
No, this list that Repose has is from just the people of the city.
Okay,
The one
cool.
and that Repose also got.
In fact, I will throw willpower at that to take it just a step further. So that is 6 successes.
Milan is struck with a single realization as you are putting together the filing system. How do you define blasphemy?
Let's take this as...
Well, as a priest Repose didn't provide very specific technical definitions of blasphemy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that was more on Milan's point without assistance. Because Milan, not priest.
I think the point I'm getting at this juncture is we are at the crossroad where, and again, Obsidian had an entire boat ride to not think about this and is now having to come to this conclusion very dramatically of this situation may end with 100 people being put to death. And that does not sit well with him in any regard, no matter who does it. Because that is a weight that whoever makes that decision has to carry with them for the rest of their lives, no matter what, whether they were okay with it, whether they weren't okay with it.
There's a
And
very
make it
loud.
so it's not being held by one person.
There's a very loud
And then,
popping
okay.
of joints.
Then
And sound of
the
settling
100 people
rocks.
go, hey, remember that time when we sentenced 100 people to their death? Good
It's
times.
a lot easier when it's 100 different people making that decision.
Darren, quick glance.
What
how many people on this list are guilty of convenience and not actual, I'm going to be a seditionist? Someone who went along with this because...
Well, this doesn't say guilty of anything. This is all accusations.
Yeah, these are all accusations.
I'd like to make my point
Yeah.
for a second here. The point I'm getting at is somebody needs... I don't know if this is dice or what, but you are going up against some critical, like, basis fucking building blocks of Obsidian's character.
All right.
I had something there, but I wanted to let other people get their bit in before I jumped in on that.
Okay.
I will like to make a what's the term for convincing roll to someone?
Instill?
Instill. I'm going to instill at Obsidian of, this might not be 100 deaths. Not all crimes merit death. Yes, these people are garbage, but to what varying degree of garbage? Six successes.
And what would that be?
And this is making the argument.
I'm I meant like more. What is that versus? Is that versus anything?
Result.
Which is 5. This is also, I would say, keying on your intimacy of suffering of the defenseless and needless sacrifice. Basically, the point. Well, go on, Milan. You finish the point,
Yeah.
and else, but I think that's happening.
You are assuming that these people are guilty and thus should be sentenced to death en masse in full. A trial hasn't been made yet. There could be people in here whose crime is poor choice, inconvenience. We haven't done an investigation yet. The Valley hasn't done an investigation yet.
No, they haven't.
We are assuming guilt before proven otherwise.
All Sun did was find people doing bad things. Sun did not find the underlying motivations.
Obsidian, think of it another way. If there's 100 people about to be executed, there could be 100 people who asked for, justice of some sort. And is it really, within our rights to say, no, you're wrong, actually?
Have you asked?
It sounds a whole lot more to me like you actually are just hemming and hawing without making a
Collecting
real
the
decision.
accusations was asking people for their grievances against the arrested.
And
Presumably, if anyone had no grudges against them, it would have very obviously shown up in the inquiry. An inquiry has been conducted. Weeks have passed since the internment.
My point along Yang's, the Yang and Malone's argument is: did you ask them what they wanted to do? What the people wanted to do? As Angry
What do you want to do, basically?
Yeah, and as Malone just said. Okay, so what are the charges? What is the punishment? What are we getting at?
Obsidian, a month and a half ago, you all rightly called me out for taking it upon myself to do something to protect my daughters when I should have talked to all of you, when I was trying to take the burdens on myself. That was a horrible mistake on my part. This is not something I want you or anyone else here to do. We cannot take these burdens on ourselves. 100 or 50 or whatever number of people will die. This is a town, this is a valley of people that are their kin. It is their choice, not ours.
Anyway,
We will
I
give
was
them the
trying
best
to
possible
assert.
information, but it's not in our hands.
I was trying to assert at an earlier point in this conversation, as the idea seems to be appropriately floated. I will now suppose that it is instead happening here, of an audible click of things settling into place for repose. How did I go so long facing this situation in this season? And for this long, not have a rise in mind? Public stoning.
What?
Okay,
is
that
pretty
wasn't where
Earth.
I was going with that, but all right.
That's quite Earth. That's
Each
actually a good
accused
idea.
is brought forth before a crowd who are all duly armed to inflict whatever retribution they feel appropriate. And should they feel that it has become excessive, to cease.
Staff to help them when they are done if it happens pre-mortem.
Let's shelf that one, Repose.
No, honestly,
No, it's quite earthy.
No.
It's a good idea for the season.
No, Repose.
It is entirely within the bounds of such an event for those assembled to choose to cast no stones, pardon the accused, and send them on their way.
that is an option.
That's just death or no death.
Or
Oh,
grievous injury, which is no death.
No. That's not justice. That's just
It is due process.
it's revenge. And
From the
again, it does not give the proper course to this. You have to let the people decide more by just saying mob
With-
justice and actually let the grievances be come out and talked about rather than just arming everyone and saying, have at it.
All right, I want to pause and just do an out of character check-in on everybody. How's this going?
Well, I'm perfectly fine.
I'm fine for now. Yeah.
How are you doing, Senna?
This is funny.
Thumbs up from Bradway.
Just throw rocks.
The stones
Angler
will
is very into this, like saying no, and Crumb is just more of a, yeah, this is a turn I wasn't expecting, but sure, let's explore this.
All right.
Can I check in with the
I
chat?
would
How
note
is the
that
chat
I've-
feeling?
Hmm?
I just want to make sure no one in the chat is uncomfortable by this.
This is definitely at the, like, we're gonna pull back. It's just like, give us a minute here. We're
Do
going.
not start with the large rocks. Or the sharp rocks.
I like the idea of tapping into the seasons of grievances, though. How about a forum royal scream?
Have none of you attended a stoning?
No.
I
I
have
have.
conducted stonings. How did this not come to mind? I go this long without just.
I've been.
Stonings
so.
were abolished after an incident on the Isle.
I took part in one. I was a child at the time.
Someone
They're
had
quite enthusiastic and very
someone
fun.
had the idea of using the center as the stone. There was
Like the mountain?
yes.
How?
That's a whole situation. I don't know
We
if
don't
I have.
talk about it.
Yeah,
Long
we don't
story.
talk about that.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, yeah, this is so out of character. This is actually pretty contemporary with the time period. Stonings.
Yes.
Yeah, like this is a very of the era way of handling this. Is
Like I just posted in the chat, executions before like the mid 19th century or so. Public affairs for everyone to have fun at.
Yeah,
those
I
are
know. It's just
parties.
mostly,
As-
this is definitely something that Angler would not be okay with because he is not.
As stated in
this
dialogue,
wealth.
the rationale here, everyone together as a group decides to either do it or not.
this is
Yeah.
basically
Obsidian says a step too far.
I mean, not everyone will be stoned. There will be some people who will just be like, "Nah, that dude can
We
get
do it,
exiled," because they
and
don't
we,
want him in.
and we do this one at a time.
Obsidian
Let's go.
hates death already, and the method of death that is long and drawn out and
stoning is not very long. If you
No,
throw it.
actually, stoning is quite quick.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
may be
If-
misunderstanding what you mean.
Yeah,
But
when
sorry.
you
Versus
have
being pelted with rocks. Guess what? One of those thrown really well can kill you pretty much immediately.
Oh, okay.
you're having dozens of
If
people
someone
throw
Throws a
fist-sized
rock with intent to kill. It will
It's
do
really
work.
easy to
It
kill
is-
someone with a rock.
firing squad, basically, where the entire community is like, "No, that dude's an asshole. Get him."
Yeah, it's an analog firing squad.
I think what needs to happen is the Trident River Valley needs to set up a judicial system.
Right. I mean,
No,
this
I'm
is
going-
a stopgap measure, I think.
I'm going to take a step back for a second again and say, if this is what we set on stoning, I'm not having that play out in character. I'm having
Same.
Absolutely
Same.
not.
Well,
Yeah,
so
absolutely
furthermore,
not.
furthermore, what I'm
100%
picturing,
we're not doing that fucking in character.
furthermore, what I'm picturing having happen here is this is happening at a more graduated pace, where we
Yes.
start with the ringleaders, any of them that have survived, anyone who has the most grievous of things against them.
the most
They
obvious.
get brought out first, and then
They get killed.
after months of this happening, the crowd will get more lenient as they get wary of doing this. And also, the people who have been sitting in the waiting line, waiting for this to happen, will have more opportunity to reconsider how they want to do this.
You know, I could not be pelted by rocks by just turning a leaf.
It sure is yet another person getting pelted with rocks for doing that thing I did.
Maybe I should plead guilty.
I'm
So,
not okay with the
atonement?
spectacle. I'm not okay with the spectacle for death. However, if that's what the people decide, without any
I have an idea.
choice from us,
We do have the X card if that's like an
I
extra.
have an idea.
Go on.
go for it.
Instead of throwing stones, you throw grievance cards. And if it's over a specific amount, then the state comes in and says, okay, well,
That's just casting lots in a jury.
yeah, let's just do it to democracy,
Yep.
basically. Let's not make the people cause the executions. Let's make them confirm the executions.
Our fucking really dumb and roundabout way of that's just a jury.
I've been trying to get to the whole time. Yep.
And a jury, basically. So people will cast stones, but the stones are votes to kill them.
So basically, have it be public stoning, except
Stoning.
have it be an anonymous vote system for whether or
Yeah,
not they get the
Because
wish by.
if everyone's throwing it all at once, who the fuck knows who threw it or not?
It's a town hall.
Or you could throw a yes or a no, and then we count it from that to make it even harder to tell who, you know.
Why
Repose
could you
go.
not
Yeah,
just go
it
to
says
a
repose
jury to
goes, but
begin
it's
with?
not Wood Month.
We can make them very tiny yes or no rocks. How about that? Yeah,
Or
write your
stones.
opinion on a stone, throw it at him.
That's genius, actually. Stone effigies.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
shit, that's a really good fuck. Let's make this a
About to get to that
cultural.
too. Yep.
Fuck, this rules! How do we stumble into this?
Morgan's very good at this in terms of that suggestion, but like, yeah, no, I'm willing to do this as like a voting system in terms of like having the people who are absolutely at the worst of it be pretty much condemned to have an execution, and the rest will either be given some sort of exile or other community or
They should
repose
have
aside.
execution so that the community can be like, oh, this has a direct correlation between life and death when I throw this thing.
How
Yes.
did it take you all so long to get to a jury?
Hmm.
It's a great
We had
question.
to deal with interpersonal matters first.
Everybody was a little blindered in character.
I said jury. Never mind. I'm not going to get upset about that. Never mind.
Angler did propose it and then was kind of walked over because everybody else was still working on things.
I'm taking a walk. I'll be right back.
This is funnier.
This is funny.
Yeah, like this is a jury development system for punishment is also
the fact
very.
that we started at stoning and then invented juries is something I'm pleased as punch about.
There's no chance that you invented juries. You just reinvented the concept of a jury by
invented jury.
accident.
I
I
can't believe
made
we
this.
get the
You made
corrugated
this, I
cardboard
made
again.
this.
I mentioned multiple times here that if you just leave it to the people
And
eventually,
I
they will have
solve
no
everything
problem
by
with
letting other people do my work, and we're all very smart, huh,
having and
fellas?
hawing over what should be done. If all you have to do is leave it to them.
Angler in the corner going, jury system, jury. It's called the
Gang
jury.
goes jury once. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, I themed it after stone throwing, which is why it's stuck.
Yeah, but his was dumb.
God.
We call it the Yang Idol system.
So, I think that's, unless we have more to dig into this, I think we're going to just have it be set up as Milan assists with setting up the legal process basis for this. Have people get the anger out by stoning in effigy to do their votes, and then have the public execution aspect, because I will be real, this is antiquity, that is going to be partially expected. It was it was the other elements of it that was unsafe.
All the angry men.
Word gets put out to the towns to send appropriate representatives. Well, probably there's already a cycle of appropriate representatives who come and go as needed for affairs. Yeah, so the process that can be doled out over probably most of the rest of the year of like, folks show up, everyone who shows up, like, if you don't have a strong opinion about it, you don't show up. Everyone who shows up gets a rock, you either throw it at the effigy or cast it aside, rocks are tabulated, execution either happens or doesn't. Accordingly.
I really like the idea of
But
casting
the question
aside.
of what to do with the people who are not sentenced to death is then a whole second argument that can happen among those who have decided to pardon them.
Obsidian bluntly just says, well, that's just exile.
Okay, back. Caught the last little bit of that.
Are you
Is
okay?
there any?
Like,
Oh,
genuine
I'm not perfect. No, that was more just me being stupidly frustrated. Don't worry about it. The idea of exile or what other thing, is there a job or a thing in this local area that is just absolutely excruciating grunt work, like salt mining or what have you?
There are mines here.
There are mines in the territory. The two ones on the orange tiles are mines.
Mine work?
Okay. Yes. You can give them the manual labor job that would be not excruciatingly backbreaking, but things that other people probably don't want to do because that would be punishment and would also be a profitable turn
Title
for the
card
empire or
drops.
country.
The gang becomes pro-slavery.
Nope.
I'm not saying for 20 years. I'm saying as a part of a
So
punishment.
indentured servitude then, huh?
No.
You're still taking away someone's rights for an elongated period to turn profits for a state. It doesn't.
I'm not saying to turn profits for a state as in.
So then
This
why
is
not
no
have him?
longer. Remember, this is also not a centralized state anymore. This is 4 disconnected towns in the
Yeah, you're fine.
centralized network between them.
This is, you want power? Okay, here is grunt work. You don't get power.
Like
Gang, it's less.
if that is like an X card level thing, I will absolutely have no equality writing that off as an option. But that is an antiquity level punishment option.
And not even
Yeah.
considering this to be a slavery thing. This is just
I can
you
I
are
can put
working.
forth in character that if anyone involved in the situation would have the right to claim them an indenture, it would be the temple, and Repose would not take them an indenture. For Repose, this is a life or death, and there's not any defensible in between question.
This is mostly just like come on. If we're gonna condemn them, let's just get it over with. You're just wasting their time here before they can go back on the wheel.
Mhm.
It's shitty.
Whatever the case may be, that's still something that the people are going to have to decide.
Yeah, and I'm willing to have the
And so they can over the months
Yeah.
to follow.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
basically, I will have this fade to be the background events of the Trident River Valley rather than having this be main plot and material from now on, because this is a lot of people to work through, and this is a lot of things to decide on the side when it is their curation and you guys are off doing other things in the rest of the region.
I
You
would
okay?
say it would be community service if it was serving the community and not just,
Well,
whoever is mine.
So here's the thing: in this specific thing, it is helping the community because the community is getting these resources. This is not a sense of a current kind of punitive mining setup where it is entirely going out into exports. These people need the material, like they are getting stone for buildings to build things.
Probably the mine owners are the town elders.
And yeah, actual community service would be having the community decide what they most need for labor, which may or may not be the mine, or it may not be something else.
When I first brought it up, I mentioned salt mines because salt is something everyone needs. That's mostly what I was getting at. Is there's something that they can do that is for the whole community?
Sorry, I
Repose
didn't.
will
Yeah, I did not
Repose
hear
will
what you
go
said there at
into
all.
the,
What'd you say?
well, okay, so who are we having take the field here?
would-
Sonna spoke first, and then
Yeah, when
Alright,
I
so I'm gonna
imagine
go
in my
ahead.
rare metals and some asshole,
no,
girl
No.
collection.
that is extremely not the case right now.
All right, that's that then. So quarrying and logging and shit probably.
Quarrying basic
Yes,
materials.
that's a much better way to put it. Yeah,
Okay,
basic
Getting-
building block materials.
Materials and infrastructure.
It's different than from basically making fucking license plates, which is like
Yes,
we're gonna make this
that's-
specialized thing that you can never possibly use later. Haha, eat shit.
Yeah, no, it is a very different
We're gonna teach you how to get metal that you can never fucking use because you don't own a bellows.
Yeah, like
Reaching
Morgan's
into the,
pointing out, it would be things like helping with the harvest, or fixing up the temple, or getting the stones for the temple. It's very specific task-oriented things.
That's more actionable than just vague. I don't know, put them to work.
Yeah, and I think that was the intent. It was just the current modern associations with mining brought your brain to a specific place.
I mean, yeah, I basically imagine coal mining.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, we're gonna kill you in a really roundabout way.
And that was also a spot that had me going, no.
Yeah,
And
that
yeah,
was not the intent at all.
There are mining sentences in Antiquity that were extended death sentences, but those were for, like, imperial
Obviously,
extraction
sorry.
methods rather than actual local mines and things like that. And then, what was you were saying? Lone?
I propose we'll reach into the old bin of previously discarded ideas and refloat that somewhere amidst all of the various labyrinth Byzantine ideas for his scoring systems and so forth, he did briefly entertain the thought of assigning the community a number of pardons they could issue to just extract someone from the pool and take custody of them, and then it is now their responsibility to see to whatever is
Mm-hmm. You know, I say this fondly. When I started running this game, just a little bit, almost a year ago, this is not where I was really expecting this to go. And
Oh, you know we will always get stuck on the dumbest topics.
this is not. Oh, this is far from the dumbest topic. This is
this
just
is
me
the
going.
extremely smart topic.
This is sitting down and discussing justice and retribution and reparations and abolitionism and the lens of antiquity and how that affects things. This is deep ass weeds I did not expect to get this game into, and I'm here for it, honestly. As long as you all are, which is why I was doing the check-ins and stuff.
This is also a way to show that we don't have to make every decision. This is something a community can make.
Yes.
If
Float
you
the
can't
idea
make a
of
decision, if you can't make a decision, if you can't cause it to be solved by itself, then you just gotta get out of there. If shit sucks, hit the bricks.
Hit the bricks!
So what you're saying is the
Um,
best thing to do is nothing.
It depends.
Having
That's exactly
notable
what Old
pillars of
Man
the
is saying.
community.
Old man specifically, definitely the best thing to do is nothing.
Yeah, allow all the identifiable institutions of the valley to each, let each of them adopt a penitent, if penitents can be found among
The
those
ones
who
who
are
are not
spared.
the ones who are not murked and are truly penitent can be tasked to reparatory,
There you go.
task-oriented.
There's layer 2.
Yeah.
They get condemned or spared. The prisoner is then asked, all right, do you repent, or...
Do you not? And if you not, then you either are exiled, and if you do, then you make up for it. There you go. There's our order.
Simple flowchart.
A very weird conclusion to come to for Obsidian specifically, but it is probably the best one. He agrees with that.
Well, you're not going to do better than this right now in this one, I believe.
All right, next item on our agenda: overthrowing Riftwood Trading Company.
Death to capitalism. Mercantilism turning into capitalism.
Probably. next
Mercantilism
soon.
first. Just preempt that stuff before liberalism shows up.
Oh God!
Mother-
Once you get those two to combine together, that's when capitalism starts happening.
Do you actually want to do that, Milan?
I think that was an out of character joke.
That was an out of character joke, but
I mean,
that's a private thought Milan had.
all roads eventually lead to conflict with the guild.
The guild is there, as I mentioned this in the lore streams and in previous
The guild
things.
is a designated punching bag. No one can feel bad about fighting the guild.
I
The
hate the
guild
guild.
is there, so literally anyone in any splat has somebody to punch and feel good about it.
Hence why I'm
Most
like,
factions
if this
in
is the thing you
setting
want to
are
do,
built have
Angler's
a lot
all
of
for
gray.
it.
The guild is not.
This was less, are you sure this is what you want to do? And more Angler going, oh shit, is it finally time?
You know, I never thought about this. There's a non-zero chance, actually, that Old Man's family back in the day was associated with the guild.
You said they were extremely rich merchants, so they almost
They
certainly
were
are.
rich merchants, yeah, so they probably were. Good news, Old Man doesn't have any living family left because he is way fucking old. So,
Oh yeah, they're
hey,
all dead.
yeah, so he doesn't have to give us. He wouldn't in the first place, but he doubled of it. Doesn't have to give a shit.
Yeah, I think we're
So
about at that.
we were doing all of this before the lead up to some kind of meeting with Sun and Sybil.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
try doing that, but we are also at about the time we usually cut it, so we could start with that next week. How are we all feeling?
How long do you think the meeting will take?
Depends on how deep in the weeds it goes.
I feel like this is a good productive
This is a
note
good-
to just
this is
close
a
the
good-
session on.
Also,
Like-
that meeting could be a good reminder of everything that happened in the previous session.
Yeah, it'll be
In fact,
good.
also, so like narratively, the meeting can like happen like one beat after this, because I feel like now that this has all managed to transpire, Repose would actually like go back to the temple, retrieve his stuff, re-equip, regroom, and he starts like planning and rehearsing speech that he will give to announce this proposal before town elders. Things are returning to normal. There is an order
Repose
that he
has
can
picked
follow.
up the staff. And yeah, I think the talk with Sun and Sybil would be a good way to establish, okay, what is the main plot going?
Next time, the news.
Finally, we
news!
get Rubinsky watches the news. It's been so
Big
long.
news.
Next time.
Rubinsky.
Next time.